I'm the solo GM. I'm the guy that's trying to run games by himself without any players. I already did a video on that, but you may ask yourself, what's the difference between solo play and solo GMing? Solo play is about going through scenarios, making decisions, and creating story. With a solo GM, I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm trying to make scenarios and situations for people to react to. That will create the story. So I don't create any story. The people who make the story are the players. The players are the story. The problem is with a lot of GMs is they try to create the story or make the players fit into their story and make them do what they want. But players don't do what they want. Kids don't do what you want. Your dog don't do what you want. And your cat definitely doesn't do what you want. But if you can make your cat do what they want to do, you'll have what I call good story. And you create story by putting them into conflict and seeing what they want to do. And what do I mean by conflict? Conflict happens all the time. Conflict is when you have to make a decision on what you should do. And you may make a good decision or a bad decision. But in a role-playing game, a lot of times that decision is always bad, and what are you going to do with that bad decision? But to give you a case in point of what I'm talking about on an example, let's imagine for a second that you're on your lunch break and you only have 30, 40 minutes, and you got to run out and go to the fast food because you forgot your lunch today or you didn't have a lunch, or that's what you do. And you run out to the fast food joint, and on the corner there's like 3 of them. And the first one is the popular one that everyone goes to, and they're the good one, and if you had time, you'd go to that one and you'd sit in line, but you don't have time today. So you have a constraint of time. The second one, they don't ever have a line, but they can never get an order right to save their lives, and it takes them forever, and even though there's nobody there, it still takes them an hour to do what the other place can do in no time. But the third place is pretty good. And just your luck today, they don't got anyone there. Matter of fact, there's just one person in line. So you run over there and you said, oh, I'm going to get my lunch and go home, and everything's hunky-dory. And you get in there, and that one person's that Karen. The one that is not happy, and she is pitching it, and she is complaining about it, and nobody is moving. And she's screaming at the manager, and the manager is just screaming back at her, and you're just like, you wait 5 minutes and it's still going on, and then you start to look and there's like 10, 15 people behind you now. And it's like, well, what do? Do you A, yell at the Karen, B, yell at the manager, B, start complaining to the other customers, D, go someplace else, or 5, just go back to work because you ain't got time? But in any way, you're going to get back to work, and you're going to have a story. Depending on what you did, you will have that story. You will have made that story. I would not have made that story. I just made the situation. And that's the difference between solo GMing and solo play, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, I don't know. Why don't you tell me what you think? And tell me why I'm wrong and how it should be.